first, you can't open the papers at the moment without stories of yet another celebrity split. Dougie Pointer from McFly was forced to have a spell in rehab to get over his split with Frankie from the Saturdays. Alex Reed's mum's been reported saying her son's far too upset to talk about his split from Jordan. And Mamma Mia star Amanda Seyfried says she got her heart badly broken by ex Dominic Cooper. So why do breakups always have to be so messy? Is there such a thing as a happy breakup? Joining me now, Susie Miller. She's a breaking up expert. Partly, Susie, because you've been through it yourself, big time.
Yes, definitely. I've had that experience, like most people, of
Yes.
the broken heart. And out of that experience, I created the Starting Over shows to support people who are going through divorce and breakup in a way that's not going to get too nasty.
Well, explain, first of all, the impact of a breakup. I mean, I know about this. Obviously, I've lived through this just like practically everybody watching this programme will have done. The shock, the hurt, the pain, the disbelief, the anger, the fury, and then this terrible, terrible dip in your self-esteem where you don't think anyone will ever love you again, then hatred, all sorts. I mean, we've all been there.
And all at once. And it's actually the same things that happen when you go through bereavement. It's the same psychological stages. And as you, I, and most people know, it's incredibly painful and it is a really difficult thing to do. And quite often people don't accept just how life-changing that can be. And if you get stuck in bitterness, stuck in that low esteem, feeling miserable, then you've got a problem. Because you're not going to be able to get through it, start over and form new, happy relationships.
I'm going to bring Camilla into this. So young, so beautiful. Have you had your tender heart broken yet?
I have.
Oh.
But I've been in sort of 3 relationships that were over 18 months, and do you know what? I'm still friends with all of them. I mean, I loved them and I trusted them for so long that, I mean, it was difficult. And like you said, you do go through all those stages, but I mean, we're still friends now.
I suppose it depends on who did the breaking and who did the leaving. If you were the one who wafted off to become famous and leaving them all, then it's not surprising that you can be in a rather grand fashion friendly with them. It's a question of how you've left them feeling.
Oh, no, it's a mixture of both of us leaving each other. But I mean, I think it's just about not letting past things get in the way and just remembering that you're both good people.
Well, it sounds so easy when you're sweet and naive and 22, when there are kids involved, when there's been a lot of heartbreak involved. I mean, tell us your story. What happened with you?
Well, basically, my kid's dad didn't come home one night, and then finally he did, and revealed that he wasn't happy. And we'd been together for 10 years, 3 children. I was going to be 40 that year, didn't have a career anymore, and it was actually the worst thing that's ever happened to me, mainly because I had no idea. I felt quite stupid as well, because I hadn't really spotted it coming at all. And as you're saying, it's about letting go of, it doesn't really matter who did what at the end of the day. If you're in a divorce court, the judge doesn't care, and in your children don't want to know that daddy did this or mummy did that. In fact, the secret is to let go of all that and find a way to move forward, which is why I have lots of divorce coaches and life coaches and counsellors at my events, because actually it's the emotional side of it that you have to deal with.
Okay, it strikes me as if there's one very important thing that you're not mentioning here. And obviously I'm getting a bit personal, I'm talking about myself, but and that is just the pain. The pain of a broken heart, because I remember feeling, I mean, I know it's a fictional thing that your heart doesn't literally break, but it felt, I'm holding it, and I can, I'm clutching it, it felt properly broken. It felt like I wasn't sure the blood was going to get from one side to the other. And you know the phrase, how your blood ran cold? Yeah. I've never been so cold. My heart was broken. I was absolutely kind of racked with pain, you know, the sort where you don't even feel like yourself, even when you're kind of, say you're sitting in the bath, you can't even lie back in the bath because you're so shocked, you're kind of rocking in just shock and realisation. I mean, it hurts me to even talk about it, and now it's 11 years on, and I'm very, very happy with Ben, thank God, and all of that, but I mean, you're not mentioning that level of pain, which is what drives someone like Dougie into hospital with something like this.
I used to say to people, it's like someone's got a machete and literally hacked my heart to pieces. It really does feel that bad.
Yeah.
I remember thinking I'd rather someone had cut my arm off than done that to me.
Yeah.
But amazingly, you do survive, you do move on.
You do.
And in that process of learning to do that, you learn so many things that you didn't know before, which I would say it makes it worth it, but it is a catalyst often for people to really move their lives on and to change.
But when you say learn things, what sort of things?
How to have a relationship in a way, because when you're breaking up with someone, you've got children, you have to learn how to communicate, and you need to find those skills. And one of the best, I'm so lucky because of my events, I get access to brilliant coaches and communication experts, and I use them, and I'm a continual student really of all that. So you do learn a lot.
Let's go to Ben on the sofa over there. I mean, you've had a few quite passionate breakups in your life too.
Yeah, I was going to say two things, but just on the last thing you said, I was just thinking, how do I get over the pain? And I've noticed on Twitter and all around, I mean, the room's full of women. It's only women on Twitter and on Facebook talking about it. Men don't talk about it at all. But a friend of mine, you know, sort of a bit of a geezer, just said to me, you know, you go to bed and you wake up and it hurts. You go to bed and wake up and it hurts. And one day you go to bed and you wake up and it doesn't hurt anymore. And that was his remedy of getting over a broken heart. You know, that's the blokey remedy. And also, you know, when it comes to breakups, I don't believe in any happy breakups. I believe that there's no happy endings. An end is an end. It's an end for a reason, and that's it. I mean, that's the testosterone in me. But on the Twitter, it says, Karen says, the best way to get over the relationship is to get another one. On Facebook, Annika and Emma say, get under someone.
Oh, nice.
I don't think you ladies are taking this entirely
I'm not sure
seriously.
that's a very elegant way of putting it, but we know what you mean. And let me just run it by my guest. I mean, is it a good idea to find someone else to hook up with someone? Certainly, it's a lovely distraction. I know that.
I'm sure we've all tried those methods,
Yes.
and they certainly, on the short term, the same as alcohol, going out and partying, they're all great short-term remedies, and sometimes they can be helpful, but you have to be careful that you don't go too far. But ultimately,
What do you mean go too far?
End up becoming, addicted to drugs and alcohol, or in putting yourself into feeling suicidal.
They're
and
not
having
saying
to
take drugs and alcohol. They're saying find somebody else.
Oh, I
Fall
see.
in love
Yes,
with somebody else nice and quickly, or at least if you don't fall in love, have a nice skirmish, as one of my guests said.
But in
the
a
other
way,
day.
that's
have a skirmish.
Get
with
under
somebody else.
someone.
going out and
please.
dating, but while you're still hurting,
Yeah.
you're not really open to the kind of loving, happy relationships that you'd want. So it's actually not that different from going out and just getting drunk with your
Did you ever go
friends.
straight from one broken relationship to another, like within a matter of hours, days, weeks?
No, I'd always try and have a period of a few months where I guess, not in a silly way, but I'd sort of learn who I was again. Because you sort of lose yourself in the other person, don't you? And I think that's probably half the struggle, is half that person is taken away. So I would always try and focus myself before I got involved again.
We've got somebody on the line who's seen so many people go through this kind of thing. The renowned divorce lawyer, Vanessa Lloyd-Platt. Hi, Vanessa. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Hi, good afternoon.
So, breakups, do you think they ever can be civilised, cordial? Can people come out of them okay, or is it always going to be hell?
They can. No, I have to disagree with Ben, because we do some happy breakups. I mean, it eludes some people, it eluded me. But I have to say that every day of the week we manage to do some happy breakups, and in a civilised manner, so that people reach sensible agreements about the children and the family and what should happen. The problem is, and we've spoken about this before, is where some people have unrealistic expectations. That's when it all starts to go badly wrong. So if a woman has got an unrealistic expectation that her husband had to be the centre of everything, so that without him, she's so angry because now that he's gone, how could she live a life? And with that comes this expectation that he now must compensate her for having done this. And sometimes that is the problem, because it's not realistic in every case that the wife should stay in the home. And therefore, you know, sometimes when we have to break the news, look, I'm very sorry, but the financial circumstances are such, you can't stay there. They get doubly angry.
But there's this horrible thing, Vanessa, of the broken promises. It's kind of like, well, you promised to love me and cherish me. You promised that you'd stick by me in sickness and in health. You know, you're the father or mother, of course, of my children. You know, you promised me, when I met you, when you asked me to marry you, or when I asked you to marry me, you were meant to be giving me, and I was meant to be giving you the key to happiness. And now you're taking not only that future together, but the house, money. You know, you're having my kids on Christmas Day. Oh my God, it's a big deal, isn't it?
I know, and this is the point. For some women, this is so enormous that some people can't recover from it.
Yeah.
But I am living proof that there can be life after divorce.
So am I.
And I am...
So she. We all are, yes.
And we all are.
Yeah.
And I have to say to you, one of the things that I think I learned along the way, and I've learned with the trip I've taken with thousands of my clients, is actually you sometimes realise that for some women, men can be the centre of their universe, and that without it, their universe seems to disappear. But one of the learning curves is that doesn't have to happen. And as Susie said, and we've spoken about this before, it can be the start of a new universe and exciting things happening. And for many women that I see, and men, it can be the kickstart of their life actually beginning.
You have put that absolutely beautifully, as I knew you would. Thank you, Vanessa, very much indeed. Fantastic, Laura, and very, very positive about all of this. Let's go to Ben and his sofa surfers, because you've got two very interesting ladies
Yeah,
there.
two. I mean, Chandni, now you seem like quite a measured person. We've had a chat backstage and stuff. You was talking, but you went for a breakup, didn't you? And would you say that was bad or?
Yeah, it was bad. It should have been amicable, but it took me about 3 months to get over it, even though I knew it should have been. It was still really bad and hurt.
And was that the same for him, do you think? Same
Probably not, no.
Who cares about him? We're talking about her.
No. I'm just saying it's because it was amicable, so they both agreed.
That's
what you're saying.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, but yeah, it should have been amicable. And Harveen, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it does always depend on the circumstances of the breakup. I think if it's a trust issue, it's very hard to recover from that, especially as a woman. I think it's very, very
as a man.
Yes. But also, you know, if it is a amicable split and it's a case of falling out of love, I think it can be a little bit easier. Just a little bit easier.
And just in case Ben feels completely outnumbered by the women and the estrogen flowing
Tell me about it.
at this moment. Let's go to Henry on the phone. Hi, Henry.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello, Henry.
So,
I've come to support you, Ben.
Thank you.
it's quite easy to say it's women who are always done wrong and it's men who are always the wrongdoers. Of course, it's not true. What's your story?
Well, I've had a couple of sort of quite notable breakups in my time, but I suppose there was one. I was used to be a very sort of busy restaurant chef once upon a time, and I was living with a lovely girl for about a year and a half, and it all sort of it was starting to suffer massively with the hours I was keeping. I was working over 100 hours a week, and actually it was quite painful to start with. We came to the conclusion basically that it wasn't going to work. I wasn't really seeing enough of her. She was a painter working during the day, so by the time I was getting back at night, you know, she was ready to go to sleep, and I was still buzzing after an evening service in the restaurant, and decided that actually to continue was actually destroying our friendship. And it was a very painful experience to go through because we both decided it was a mutual decision that we had to actually part company because it wasn't going to work. And actually it took about a year or so, well, just under about 9 months, for me to sort of get my head around everything. But I was in absolute turmoil, but we are really good friends now.
And do you wish that you were still an item?
No. She's back in her country. She's from South Africa, and she's now in another relationship. But we've remained friends. This happened about 11 years ago.
And are you nicely loved up now? You're not still single and searching?
I am. I've got myself the most gorgeous girlfriend, who is most definitely a keeper. But the thing is, I always look at relationships. I think they're always initially very painful when you conclude them, when you decide it's not going to worth continuing. But I always try and keep friends with ex-girlfriends because I think it's all feedback. I always look at it almost like a stepping stone.
Only a man would say that, Henry. Thank you very much. I try to keep friends because it's all feedback. What are you, a computer? Listen, Susie, thanks very much indeed for coming in. Camilla's going to be staying with us. She'll be telling us how Gary Barlow made her musical dreams come true. And after the break, Elton and Rod are giving it considerable welly. But is having an older dad a good thing for the child? We'll be back soon. Thank you very much indeed.